Welcome back to Peace, Love and Tarot. This reading is for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's the weekly reading for the week of October 7th to the 13th. This week you have the Share Your Voice Oracle card. We have the Four of Wands, we have the World, Temperance, the Tower, Justice, and the Ace of Wands. So pretty intense reading here, Aquarius. You may know that the amount of major arcana in the reading indicates its significance, and we have 4 out of 6 here, and some not subtle energies with the World, Justice, and the Tower. So the major arcana are often linked to our life lessons, to our karmic life lessons, and we are really strongly seeing a situation of that playing out here. So just going to start by reading out your oracle card here, Aquarius. Share your voice. Come out of the cave. Persecution. Expression. You are being called to share your voice, perhaps by speaking up in a relationship, or through writing, speaking, singing, or some other form of creative expression. We each hold a deep truth within us that longs to be expressed. Sculpted for lifetimes, the voice of your soul is not like no other. It carries with it wisdom that can only be gained through soul history and growth. By remembering, tapping into, and expressing this unique tone, we not only heal ourselves, but we also heal the planet at large. So is there a situation, Aquarius, that you haven't been speaking up in, that you haven't been communicating from your heart? And my hunch is that this is a relationship situation. Doesn't have to be a romantic relationship necessarily. It could, can be a business partnership, friendship, but some kind of strong relationship situation that potentially you haven't been communicating how you really feel. You haven't been communicating your truth in that situation. And I feel that truth is that you want to bring this to a completion, but you have been unable to because you've been unable to share your voice. You've probably been, fearing that you may hurt this person. Romantic relationships, of course, it deep hurts. It can be a period of strong upheaval if you're, having to move homes or split up assets, that kind of thing. If it's a work situation, you might not want to let down colleagues or boss or mentor, or you're afraid of moving on. It's that kind of energy. That world, I'm just going to turn it up this way just for the ease of the reading. The world is a card actually of victory if we can allow things to complete as and when they're meant to. Because the world, when it comes into a reading, indicates that you have arrived at the end of this karmic cycle, or that you have learned what you needed to learn in that situation, and now it's time to step through that Saturnian loop into your next life lesson. And that's how we keep on evolving spiritually and growing and developing. And that really is the key, is to know when it's time to sow, when it's time to reap, and when it's time to replant completely over, give those fields, I'm just seeing the fields, and overhaul. It's time for you to lay new foundations in your life, because this one has been, this one is completed. The situation could have been something that you dreamed of in the past. The world, it links to the Magician energy. The World is the last card in the tarot deck, the Magician being number 1, because what the World says is that what the Magician, willed into physical manifestation with his, thought and intention alone, has materialized in the physical world. And then the World says that has materialized and now is ready to complete. So at some point, this situation, this job, this relationship, this partnership may have been something that you actually manifested, and you would have manifested that because you knew that there was a karmic contract or a life lesson associated with this. But that is done now, Aquarius, so we have to know when it's time to let go. Yeah, and this week, I think it's all coming to a head with that Tower energy and Justice. So the universe here is saying, well, you know what, if you don't end it, then I'll create a situation that will. The Tower in reverse can be stopping a situation from completing. It can be when it naturally kind of comes into a climax point, an argument, that there's that perfect opening to have the conversation that you may not have been sharing. When that perfect opening comes up, not going through with it or patching things up, rebuilding that tower when we really need it to fall, and that stops that completion. So, this week justice is coming in to say, you know what, I'm bringing in this Tower energy. I'm going to turn that up in the upright position so that you can let this fall. Now the Tower, I know it looks like an ominous card, guys, but it is a blessing in disguise, because it's the universe shaking things up in your situation so that that tower can fall down and you can get on the life path that you're truly meant to be on. Because this situation was built on a shaky foundation. Maybe it wasn't at the start, but it's saying that it's not in your best interest. It's not a fit for you anymore. We have a square tower, we have a round crown. It doesn't take much for it to come down. But with that justice energy, I really feel that you're strong and victorious, and you're going to be the tower. So it might be the other parties that fall around you. Justice. So it is about bringing things back into balance. It's about a fair and just modification occurring in the situation to balance that universal balance sheet. Justice can be about legal matters. There may be, some contractual things you need to go through in order to bring the situation to completion. Yes, it could be divorce papers, even if it is a, marriage situation, division of assets, work contracts, property agreements, that kind of thing. But, it really is saying that it's time. It's really divine timing. We can strongly see that here in the reading. So it is a blessing in disguise. We must let the tower fall. The warning with the tower is to not rebuild it. If you did think that there is any chance of salvaging this relationship, this partnership, we need to rebuild from a completely different place. And that obviously can be very difficult to do within a situation when people know each other so well. So once we allow that situation to complete here and end, this is when the true healing can begin for you, Aquarius. Temperance really is that angel stepping in with that healing energy to rebalance the waters of your life. Emotions are represented by water in the tarot. So it really is saying, it's time to restore, it's time to renew, it's time to take the healing that you need to recover from the situation. Temperance tells us that there's real promise of a new dawn on the horizon for you, if first you can come back into a place of stability and emotional balance. I always think of the triangle here. It represents, the most solid structure. It doesn't matter what side you push on, that's not coming down. So it's about getting yourself back into an unshakable place, balancing your physical, mental, and emotional well-being, so that then, you can actually move forward. And that's what the universe wants you to do here, because it's bringing you in that Ace of Wands towards the end of the week or in the near future here, Aquarius. So the Ace of Wands, especially in this situation here, I think could be you rediscovering your passion and enthusiasm for life. It can talk of spiritual growth. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of growth out of this situation. It can be a passionate offer. It could be this is a work situation, the offer of a role or job position that is more aligned with who you truly are, that you're going to feel passionate about. It can be the promise of, passionate love in the future as well. Sometimes when a cycle is due to complete, and we go through with that, someone else is waiting behind that door quite quickly, if that's the one that you're supposed to be with. Because there is an element of divinity with the Ace of Wands. It's the universe saying it's the right time for new opportunities to come in for you. And it invites you to take action to grow what is number one, with being the ace of the suit of the tarot, into something stable. But, we do need to take action when they come in. So Aquarius, there are beautiful opportunities on the horizon, a lot closer than what you actually think. But you do have a hurdle to cross here first, and it could all start with you sharing your voice. It all starts with you speaking up and communicating how you really feel. If you feel it's time to complete the situation, allow that to happen. Don't stop the tower from falling. The universe is saying that it is time to bring this to a victory, to bring it back into balance, to bring it back to justice. And once you have that justice, then you're going to be stepping into your power, and you have created the opening for new opportunities to come in for you. So that's what I have for you, Aquarius. I hope you enjoyed the reading. keeping in mind it's a general reading, so it won't be for each one of you. Leave me a comment, love to know how it's playing out in your daily life, and I'll be back here with you next week for another reading.